Hello, my name is Bethany, and today I'll be talking about Harry Emerson Fosdick. He became a Christian at the age of 7, and not too far from that age, he decided that he didn't want to be a fundamentalist and he didn't want to be a Calvinist. He decided to work out his own faith. And in the article that we read, it stated that the Lord is to be found in the living experience, not at the end of some creed. He believed this thought all the way through his adolescence and into his college years, where they called him the Jesse James of theology, which I find kind of funny because you don't think of Christianity as being like a rebel type thing, but to Christianity, he was a rebel. He was more modernist than he was anything else, and he lived his life that way. He believed that science wasn't the enemy, that it can go hand in hand with Christianity, and that it wouldn't tear down our belief system, and it would just bring us kind of forward in our belief system. He had two very famous sermons that he did, one of which was called Shall the Fundamentalists Win? And in this sermon, he basically explained why the fundamentalists were kind of stuck in the past, and he wanted to bring Christians forward to the future. He wanted them to understand that God gave us minds, that he gave us the capacity to think beyond certain things, and he didn't want to, well, he didn't believe that God would pigeonhole us into this form of stale, stagnant. So he wasn't just preaching modernism, but he was also letting people know that modernism isn't perfect either. In fact, this is what he said: "Doubtless they have made mistakes. Doubtless there have been among them reckless radicals gifted with intellectual ingenuity but lacking spiritual depth." He knows that these are intellectuals, that they're seeking answers, and he knows that some of them aren't as Christian as other scientists are. So yeah, they're gonna swing one way, and they're going to inform us of things that aren't necessarily true. But he goes on to say that we must be able to think our modern life clear through in Christian terms, and to do that, we also must be able to think our Christian faith clear through modern terms. He understood that there is more to the modernist besides just science, but he also saw that there is more to Christianity than just structure. Now, Fosdick was not a liberal, but he was a modernist. But he had a problem with liberalism, because liberalists had the habit of changing beliefs to accommodate culture and of softening the reality of God and downplaying the themes of personal and social sin. Fosdick was a man who walked a very thin line between deep religious faith and science. And in Richard Wilson's Harry Emerson Fosdick, More Than a Modernist, he states that Fosdick's resistance to fundamentalism was rooted in a conviction that a wooden agreement with the past robs the church of its present. His resistance to modernism was rooted in his conviction that an unquestioning agreement with the present status of science and culture robs the church of its future. He balanced the difference between faith and science, and he found a way to express it through his sermons and to reach the people. I think he is an interesting man, and he was way above and beyond his time.